Hello, welcome or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz and I will be guiding you on this journey today. This is a reading for Cancer. It's kind of funny because I actually did a Cancer reading already, but for some reason, I feel like there's always one reading every round that it either takes me a couple tries to actually do it for whatever reason. There's always something that comes up around that. Or every once in a while, something like this will happen where I'll do the reading and then I'm like, oh, I don't know if that was the reading. And I don't even know where that feeling comes from. But literally then it takes me a couple days to I don't know, recalibrate. I don't know. I seriously did that reading 2 days ago. I'm probably going to post it also because why not? I did it. It's done. But like I said, just kind of hemming and hawing, going back and forth with myself about I don't know. That's right. It was a fine reading. It was good. There was nothing bad. We flowed through it. But the conclusion that I came down to is if I couldn't let it go, then I was just going to do another Cancer reading and see how it went. So that's why we're doing it again. So 2 readings for Cancer this time around. Anyway, so we have 3 decks out here. I kind of splurged and I got the Before Tarot, which is on the left, and then I got the After Tarot, which is on the right. I thought I had just a regular Rider-Waite tarot deck because that's kind of what those tarot cards are based on. I didn't have just, which is kind of funny. And maybe I did at some point, and maybe I gave it away. I literally cannot remember. But I do have the Radiant Wise tarot, which is basically the Rider-Waite, but more radiant, I guess. So the idea with these readings, and they have been really cool so far, is to kind of do a recent past, current energy, near future. The Before Tarot is basically the moments before the events on the traditional Rider-Waite tarot, and then of course the After Tarot are the moments preceding the events on the traditional Rider-Waite tarot. So we're just going to get 1 card from each deck. And then, of course, we'll also eventually look at a card from the bottom of each deck. So for Cancer, kind of funny how that came out. We have the Chariot. Love that. That is a card of Cancer. Getting ready for something. I was like, do I take that? I don't know if you could see how it came out. The card did come out. It just landed on my hand. We have the Sun in the current energy. And the near future for Cancer. We don't take the cards that flip in the deck. I just don't take them seriously. We want commitment over here. So if there is a message from the card, it doesn't need to come all the way out. And I've had personal conversations with each one of these decks about that. Near future for Cancer. Page of Wands. It's kind of funny because this is almost feeling Chariot-ish. Interesting with the sirens going by too. So whatever you were thinking just a moment ago, just be conscious of that. And I feel like sirens are usually a no, or just like a warning, you know? So yeah, I'm curious too, because my eye keeps going to like this symbol on the Chariot card. I wonder if the book mentions that. Like, probably not, but the Chariot is both a vehicle for travel and exploration and a weapon of war. Interesting. Let's see. A serious young man. The hell? A serious young man, girded for battle, steps into a Roman chariot. He's embarking on an adventure, and he has the courage he'll need to conquer and control. This isn't a training run. He's in full dress uniform, a silver suit of armor, polished to a bright sheen, and topped with a gleaming golden breastplate accented with crescent moons. Blah, blah, blah. What does it say? Let's see. What? The belt around the charioteer's waist is a zodiac belt. The circle of constellations and signs that embrace the sun. Interesting, since we have the sun out here. His team, a perfectly matched pair of sphinx, wait to be imbued with breath and life. The charioteer merely needs to say the word, and they will rise at his command. Okay, here, let's see. In myth and legend, the Sphinx was a mysterious creature who posed riddles for travelers before they were permitted to pass. A sphinx is a combination of four creatures that represents all four elements, along with the four fixed signs of the zodiac: a human head, bull's body, lion's feet, and eagle's wings. One sphinx is black while the other is white. Their partnership illustrates the principles of light and dark, male and female, action and reaction. The chariot is covered in a canopy of stars to symbolize the protection of heaven and the guidance of the universe. The shield on the front of the chariot depicts a yoni and a lingam, a Hindu symbol that represents a union of male and female. The shield is topped with a winged solar disk, which represents Horus, the Egyptian god of the midday sun. Chariots were developed as weapons of war, but also as tools of exploration, trade, and international relations. Journeys, movement, travel, quests, forward motion, speed, war, warriors, battle, conquest, triumph, victory, parades, will, control, direction, independence, drive. The chariot, let's see, he does travel in a home away from home, like the crab who travels with his home on his back. You know what's interesting, too, is, actually, okay, literally, I've already fucking... The shield, let's see. The shield on the front of the chariot depicts a yoni and a lingam, a Hindu symbol that represents union of male and female. What is interesting is that I feel, if I remember correctly, and it was a couple days ago, and as we just saw, my memory is shite, but I am pretty sure that the chariot might have come out in this position as well, or it came out in the future. I think it actually came out in the future. Maybe, fuck. I should have listened to that. Anyway, but that reading was also talking about the home. So I don't know. It's interesting. And not, I'm in my head, I'm I don't necessarily want to associate this reading, because I'm also pretty sure the sun came out in the middle position. but as like from the bottom of the deck. But again, I didn't listen to that message again, so I can't really like be sure. But it's, again, I'm like, I don't want to necessarily like spend a bunch of time and energy like I'm doing right now into trying to remember that reading. But it is interesting. I love how, in the before tarot, like this is the moment of making the decision to honor your own guidance, or honor like where you are being guided to either physically move to or take action towards something. Even like set your intentions toward a direction or a purpose or, manifestation. And even like with this town here in the background, it's like really deciding to venture out or to like leave something behind. But obviously, with this being in the recent past, and there is not forward motion just yet, like the book was saying, all you need to do is like give the word, right? But this is literally that moment of you deciding that you are ready. And even like trusting your own guidance, trusting your own intuition. And even like this armor here, because I keep kind of staring at it. I keep staring at the crescent moons actually, but which to me feels like intuition. But it's almost like this armor is more decorative than it is for protection. To me, it's like, it's not, and I know like the book was talking about, this also like being used as like a vessel for war, but it could be a war, like an internal type of war, not necessarily like an outward expressed war, or maybe not even with other people, because the only card that has another person in it is the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands is actually walking away from that person. So, I mean, obviously, like, we'll get to that, but it could just be that, like, the feeling that I'm getting is that the approach is different. Like, instead of having an armor that is designed for protection and isolation or whatever, right? It's an armor that is there almost to like amplify your intuition or to express your intentions. Because I'm just like looking at this whole getup that this charioteer, and I don't even know if I'm like saying that correctly, but it just literally looks like they're it's almost like they put on their best, what they feel good in. You could even be changing your appearance or changing how you express yourself or how you dress, how you do your hair, your makeup. Or even too, like your routines around self-care. And more like honoring, again, just your own inner guidance or your own self-expression, and just feeling more confident in that. I mean, we have Jupiter in Cancer, which is retrograde right now, but I also I believe that, let's see, Mercury is at 26 degrees. Saturn, yeah, I mean, there's still this grand water trine that's going on. I don't know specifically how long that is supposed to be activated for. Because obviously like the sun and Mercury move rather quickly, and Mercury is in retrograde right now too. I mean, all of them are. Like Mercury's in retrograde, Jupiter is, Saturn and Neptune are in retrograde as well. And that's what's forming this grand trine. So there could be, wherever Cancer is in your chart and wherever Scorpio and Pisces is in your chart as well, you could be experiencing thoughts or feelings, really, because it's water, right? Like feelings, intuition around those aspects of your life. Like for me, I'm a Cancer rising. So it's my first, my fifth, and my ninth house. The first house is self, me, or you, of course, if you're a Cancer rising also. The fifth house is creativity, vulnerability, dating, joy. And the ninth house is beliefs, long distance travel, higher education. What else is ninth house though? I feel like, I don't know why the ninth house kind of bores me. Oops. And I think that's just because I don't have like a clear understanding, philosophy, one's belief systems, the search for truth and moral and ethical principles. Okay. I like that. Expansion, perspective, the law, publishing, the higher mind. Like I said, if you are Cancer rising, those are the areas of your life that you would be experiencing the grand trine, the water grand trine in. If you are a different rising sign, then obviously it would depend on where Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces is and what those houses represent. But, retrogrades, I love too that like, I just heard this explanation. Well, okay. I just heard this explanation and what I like stopped myself from talking for a second is I'm like, I don't know if they were talking about it in terms of like natal retrogrades or like when planets go in retrograde, like transit wise, like how they are now. Maybe it would relate to both of them. But the way that this person explained it is that like retrogrades are more internal, which, we were talking about with the Chariot, but it's more of like, internal work versus external expression. Like for me, natally, all of the planets in my chart are retrograde except for Mars and Venus. And I am very internal. I process a lot of shit, internally. Versus, like somebody who would not have as many like retrograde planets and it would be more of an external expression or, just how maybe they operate externally in their lives or go after things. But like with retrograde transiting planets, people talk about those in terms of revisiting things. It's almost like having an opportunity to go back and really review whatever is coming up for you, because no doubt like something is coming up for you, right? For me, like I've had these big shifts and changes regarding like my own understanding of my mental like process and my mental health in general. And just, like seeing videos or, like conversations, like I'm having conversations about internal processes that I would have never, like a month ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, I would have never had these conversations. But now, I am, but it's a different understanding though, too, right? So it's like revisiting the same shit, but maybe having more information or a different understanding of things. But with this Chariot card here, like there's something that you are making a conscious decision to move forward with or move away from. And of course, I mean, the book was talking about, the feminine and masculine aspect of things, the light and dark aspect with these two sphinxes here. I mean, we all carry masculine and feminine energy, so there could be some sort of balancing going on with that. When we talk about feminine and masculine energy, it's not gender related in those terms. Like feminine is intuition, nurturing, receiving, literally birthing something or someone, right? But literally the ability to create and reproduce life or abundance or opportunity or whatever it is, right? Like being able to recreate that. The masculine is, initiation, protection, or they think they, anyway, providing, audacity also too, right? It's like having the audacity, and there's something else on the tip of my tongue, but what is it? Just fluttered away. I don't know, but maybe it'll come back. But it's, it's yin and yang also. So it's like, the balancing of those two. It's balancing initiation with then receiving, right? It's balancing, hustling with rest. So those two things like working in tandem, but also like the present energy here being the Sun card, it's, even making the decision to take action towards your happiness, your joy. The Sun is about to move into Sagittarius, probably either later today or tomorrow, because it's at like 29 degrees Scorpio right now. So yeah, I mean, I don't know the exact time that it'll be at 0 degrees Sagittarius, but which is fire too. And then we have Wands over here, which is also fire. So it's interesting that the Chariot is Cancer. Cancer is a water sign. The Sun is leaving water and it's going into fire. And, like Scorpio being the underworld, deep rooted, emotion. I mean, there could have even been like things coming up for you around shame or guilt. And especially with Mercury retrograde, it retrograded from a fire sign back into a water sign. So again, right, like there could be things coming up for you around deep rooted, even dark emotions. And also like how you balance those out with your truth or what you do believe to be true, like even how your truth has potentially even changed or shifted. And maybe you have new information as well, but the Sun card is like everything good. It's joy, it's bliss. It's also even like rejuvenation, rebirth, vitamin D. It could even like there's this kid on this horse here we were talking about with a Chariot about like, expressing yourself differently or the confidence that you have in yourself could be being expressed differently. Like maybe you're just like, what, I want to wear clothing that I feel more confident in. I want to, do my hair differently. I want to, like establish a skincare routine, whatever it is, rejuvenation, excitement here. Like I said, like this kid is like, ta-da, like, look at me. And even like with this, this cloth here, it doesn't look like they're holding on to it, but it almost looks like they like, what's the word where, like when you, unveil something, I wonder if it says in the book, like if it says the word. I hate that. Like when I can't find a word, it fucking pisses me off. Let's see. The sun is the center of our solar system and the source of all life. Because truly too, like we would not be able to exist without being in proximity that we are to the sun, right? Any closer doesn't work. Any further also doesn't work. We know that because there's not life on, is it Venus is the next, like, does it go Mercury, Venus? Yeah. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. And there's no life on Mars either, right? So like the fact that we are where we are, in proximity to the star that we call our sun, right? Literally gives us life. So even anytime too, like the sun comes out, I'm like, if you are in a place where you have sunlight, it's like, an invitation to get outside and get some like vitamin D or take vitamin D supplements. Because also too, like that could be, like low vitamin D kind of fucks with your like hormones and stuff. So let's see, the child on the card reflects rebirth and resurrection as he wears the same red feather as the fool and the death card. Oh, I didn't even see the feather on top of his head. He is the fool reborn with spiritual understanding and mastery. He rides forward on the horse of purity with his newfound freedom. The wall behind him reflects a barrier that he has crossed. The sunflowers represent all the bounty of summer and the richness of a beautiful August day. The sun appears to fill you with optimism and to let you know everything will be okay. It doesn't let yourself shine. Life, truth, and manifestation in the real world. Pregnancy, both literal and metaphorical. Expansion and growth, energy and excitement. I mean, if you're not looking to expand your family, be more cautious of that. If you are, this would be a good omen of that. But also too, it's like, whatever is happening in this chariot, right? Because like I said, like this does feel like making a decision to honor something within yourself, to honor your own guidance. And whatever that is, it is going to feel like a rebirth. It's almost like reintroducing yourself, to your life, to even like your path, your intention, approaching yourself differently, approaching your life differently, maybe as well. And even just having an optimistic outlook. And, maybe you are getting to a point where things are starting to settle or things are starting to become more clear. So you have that optimism, it's like, now I can see, because also, the sun is an illuminary. And luminaries light things up, right? So there could be a light being shown, or, like your path being lit up or whatever. Maybe you are a Sagittarius sun also. And then we have the Page of Wands in the near future. I'm honestly so confused by this card. And the book does not really, I think, anyway, like the book doesn't really talk about it. in very much like detail. I don't know. Like, I wonder, let me just, no, it sure don't. The book just says the mesmerizing Page of Wands is a personification of fire. He embodies a fiery energy that connects the suit of wands to the world of spirit and creativity. He's filled with energy, ambition, and drive. He's daring and courageous, which, yeah, okay. But like, look at their face on this card. Like, hopefully you can see that. Okay. But like, he looks kind of sad to me. And then there's this person back here that looks kind of like sad to me too. And I'm just like, I guess I'm like missing something here. I mean, wands are about the actions that we take, the motivation behind the actions that we take, creativity, passion. How are you communicating those things? What actions are you taking towards those things? I see wands as being information by way of experience as well, because that's what we get by trying things. We figure out what works. We figure out what doesn't work. What do we like? What don't we like? And truly, like, the only way to figure those things out is by trying. You know, like, we can think all day like, oh yeah, I'm going to love that. And then when you try it, you're like, okay, I actually fucking hate that. Or I like certain aspects of it, or you do love it, right? But I mean, like, truly the only way to figure those things out is by doing. And you get information, you acquire skill, you get information, which turns into wisdom, right? Like, it can help you make better educated decisions like down the road. It can help you also to inform other people of your experience as well. And pages are the apprentices. It's like, you know, they have the ace of their element and they're starting to play, right? Like, they're starting to take chances or to take risks. And I also always see pages as like not being attached to an outcome or attached to a path, because it's like, I'm just trying stuff right now. Like, I'm trying it on, I'm seeing how it fits, and I'm allowing myself to pivot or to change my mind or to change my belief, or, you know, to express my passion or creativity differently depending on how I feel about the thing when I try it. Right. But like I said, like, this card, the more that I look at it, I'm like, I'm just kind of confused, because maybe whatever this Chariot and the Sun card is for you, maybe it is going to require you to walk away from energies or, you know, from people who are just no longer in alignment with you in some aspect, or it's, you know, in the process of following your guidance here, somebody is going to feel affected, even like boundaries, right? Like, that's coming up in my head as far as like being an analogy or metaphor, whichever one it is. Like, boundaries are for you, right? They're not for other people. They're for you. So when we're setting boundaries, we need to set those boundaries from a lens of thinking about ourselves and protecting our energy and our peace, right? But then it's like, whoever it is that is the most affected by your boundaries are the people or the person who was benefiting from your lack of boundary, right? So, I mean, it could be that you are noticing how by your shifting, other people or just maybe one other person is just somehow not adjusting or aligning with that with you. Because this is how it feels to me in this card, is that the Page of Wands is like walking away from whatever the situation is. And this person is like, you know, that I'm choosing this thing, and you're like, I'm choosing differently. You know, like I'm choosing to be in alignment. I'm choosing to follow my own passion. I'm choosing to like be creative. I'm choosing to try things. I'm choosing differently, right? But it doesn't necessarily, but it's also, it's like bittersweet, right? Like, because it is good that you are choosing the Page of Wands, but also knowing that a relationship is going to be affected potentially. That's the bitter part, right? Like that's, and also that that's what they're choosing, because everybody has a choice, right? Like everybody has a choice. Everybody can choose to grow and evolve or not. You know, they can choose to honor their own path or not. Let's see what's at the bottom of the deck for these cards. I don't even know how long this video has been, but of course, if you haven't already, I would absolutely love it if you subscribed to my channel. It, of course, helps me grow. It helps YouTube kick these videos out for more people to see. It notifies you when new videos are posted. I'm not really on a schedule with that. I just post videos when the energy shows up to do it. You know, I would love it if you liked the video, commented on, you know, if it resonated or not. Save the video, and then of course you can unsave it. I mean, I think it counts, but anyway, I'm trying to get out there, you know, so thank you so much for any energy exchange that way. Ooh, we have the Four of Wands, the Five of Cups, the King of Cups. You know, if this is a relationship, and of course, you know, relationships can be romantic, platonic, you know, business. There really is this decision happening here where it's really taking into account, and maybe that's what is being reviewed for you right now, or like revisited for you right now, is, you know, are the relationships in your life helping you grow or aligned with where you see yourself, where you want to go, even, you know, the types of relationships that you have, does it fit anymore? Is there a sense of unity there? You know, the Four of Wands talks about also too, interesting that all we have out here is fire and water, right? Yeah. Which can go either way, which is interesting. I think it kind of ties into like what I was going to say, or what I was saying about the Four of Wands, because like if you just dump water on a fire, it puts it out, right? But if you put water in a container and put it over fire, then it heats up the water and it boils and it steams and, you know, becomes something that you can cook your food in, or, you know, like sterilize stuff, or, you know, whatever like boiling water does. But the difference is the container. Right? So it's interesting because that's kind of like where I was getting to. Like, if this is a relationship, it's like, you know, is the relationship like, you know, like, is it like pouring water onto a fire? Like, is there something that is being smothered or put out, you know? Or is there an opportunity to create a container to where there's a benefit, you know, for the fire and the water, you know, to where they can work together? Even that movie, is it Elemental? What's the movie on Disney. Elements. Yeah, elemental. Because there's the fire element and the water element, right? And by the end, I think by the end, right? Like they figure out how to coexist, I thought, or like to be in relationship. I should actually watch that. If you have like Disney Plus, like maybe you should watch that too. So yeah, very, very interesting. But the Four of Wands talks about celebration, unity, harmony. It's usually a card of marriage as well. I mean, we can, there, hopefully, you can see these people back here. There's a celebration happening. There's these other people that are there celebrating them as well. And again, even, we can see in the Chariot, this town back here, and in the Four of Wands, there's kind of the same thing. I don't know if they're like inside of the wall. I don't think so. I mean, there could just be like a real focus on wanting to surround yourself with people who support you, who celebrate you, and you celebrate them too. Like that if there's more of a feeling of harmony or more of a feeling of union. Of course, it can be a relationship too. Like if you are looking for a relationship, it's like, I want to be with a partner who gives me as much as I give, right? Because also that would be balancing the masculine and feminine energies too, of giving and receiving, initiating and receiving, because the word just left my head. Right? Like hustling and relaxing type of thing. There would be a balance within that as well. And also by the time that we get to the Four of Wands, it's like the actions that you have taken have gotten you to a place of feeling like stable and secure. So maybe again, like you feel like you're at a more stable point in your life, or feeling more secure within yourself to where you would want to take action towards that. The Five of Cups here with the Sun card, like I was saying before about, was I saying? I don't know. Sometimes when I say like I said, I'm like, did I actually say that? Or did I say that in my head? But this to me feels like healing. I mean, the Five of Cups is about loss, grieving. They're focused on these three cups here, and just not recognizing that there's these two cups back here that are still available, but it's like focusing on what hasn't worked out, what hasn't been fulfilling, like crying over spilled milk type of thing. And the Two of Cups in tarot is also the like relationship card, making contacts with people, making connections, like meeting people who share the same values as you, like meeting a prospective partner who is on the same page, wants the same things as you do. Even, like at the same stage of their like own evolution or their own healing. So there could be a sense of grief happening. I feel like grief is such a big necessary proponent of healing in general, right? It's grieving a life already lived, instead of just kind of like stuffing it down or just like forgetting that it happened or whatever. Like recognizing the impact that it's had on you and your decisions, or even how you show up in your life, and allowing yourself to go through that grieving process so that you can honor that, but also recognize like where you're going, where you want to be, and recognizing that there are still opportunities out there, and that you even want to try, or you even want to have interest in that. The King of Cups over here, kings are the highest expression of the suit. Cups, again, like have to do, again, as if I even explained, but cups have to do with our emotions, love, our relationship to love as well. How do we give it? But more importantly, how do we receive it? Because that tends to be harder than giving. Which again, over here with the Chariot, and I've been saying, however many times about the masculine and the feminine, about like giving and receiving, the balance between allowing yourself to receive, right? And the King of Cups, to me, with it being the highest expression of the suit, there is an emotional intelligence, an emotional maturity here. It's also intuition, empathy, compassion. They're pouring their water, like back into the sea here, or sea, ocean, water, whatever. To me, it's like, having an emotional capacity. It's also trusting that your cup is going to be refilled. And also even trusting yourself to refill your own cup, because that's probably what you have been working on. What does fill your own cup? What does make you feel fulfilled or purposeful? Trusting your own intuition. Let me just make sure I'm not like missing anything. Let's see. The King of Cups seems lost in thought as he leans forward slightly on his floating throne and pours a steady stream of water from his cup into the rolling sea. I also just kind of heard like pouring one out for the homies. As a form of, like respect or like remembrance too. And, that could be for the homies, or that could even just be for you. And honoring where you've been, where you are, where you're going. His throne is carved with seashells and seahorses. Is it? I'm like, it doesn't look like it. He's wearing a fish-shaped pendant, a blue tunic, and a gold cape. Behind him, a merchant sailing ship glides across the waves, and fish leap in and out of the waves. Oh, yeah, okay. Elementally, the King of Cups embodies the vaporous combination of air with water. Astrologically, he represents the fixed fire sign of Scorpio, which makes him both passionate and intense. Is that what that says? He represents the fixed fire sign of Scorpio. Well, clearly, that has to be a typo, right? Because Scorpio is water. But also interesting because we were talking about the sun moving from a water sign to a fire sign, Mercury going back and forth between fire and water, all these cards out here being fire and water, the movie Elemental being about two elements, specifically fire and water. So also too, last thing to wrap this up, because I feel like this has been 2 hours long. And if you've made it this far, thank you. But to wrap this up, in Elemental, they they avoided each other at all costs, right? Like they didn't want to be seen together. When the girl Ember finds out that, when her father finds out that she's been hanging out with Wade, I think is the water element, freaks out, right? So maybe like within yourself too, there's been an imbalance or just like a tug of war between, again, like your emotions, your own internal guidance and your intuition versus the actions or the inactions that you have taken. And there seems to be this flip happening here where your actions are going to start to be more in alignment with your intuition and your own inner guidance. So this is beautiful. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.